when ransomware gangs target Russian oligarchs, that's like Russia on Russia crime. So
that's true. Don't cut that out. That's true.
No, it's like the Spider-Mans, like you asked me first.
And ultimately, Russian oligarchs are criminals. So it's like, what are they going to do? Steal from themselves? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover 5 of the most interesting data breaches from this last week. And one of our favorite bourbons. I'm Steve.
Divya.
Howdy, I'm Shu.
Great. Well, Divya, what happened this week?
All right, guys. So we are going to go right into the awesome B&B energy stuff. And today's, the first story of the evening is Alabama Honda worker sues, saying he wasn't paid overtime following ransomware attack. They have filed a suit against the automaker, claiming that he wasn't paid overtime. And that was because the company's timekeeping system was attacked. And I want to say, is this Kronos? It sounds like it would be Kronos because that's the only, absolutely right. So what do you guys have to say about this story?
I find it entertaining that Kronos attacks time systems.
That's pretty crazy, isn't it? I think they did it for irony.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're going to ransom your time system. What's a good name for us?
How about the Greek god of time?
I would have gone with Clockwork Orange, but that's just me.
I feel like that's trademarked.
By the way, if a ransomware gang becomes Clockwork Orange, it's not me and it's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
You should trademark that and sue them.
Yes, because suing ransomware gangs goes well.
Yeah.
So this is one of the problems with ransomware is even if you're being ransomed, you still have to follow laws and regulations. And if someone's ransoming your timekeeping system, you still have to pay your employees. So I think I fully support the employee. If you are forced to work overtime, then you need to be paid. It's pretty basic.
Yeah, and this guy's basically saying to Honda, hey, prove me wrong. And if their timekeeping system was ransomware and was locked down, what can they do? I mean,
I don't feel like most people would fake it and then start a lawsuit. I'm inclined to believe that this worker just wanted to be paid their overtime. And honestly, the lawsuit's going to cost Honda more than just paying outright. So I don't know what this manager was thinking. Just pay him. Even if you can't prove it, just pay him.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
if you're going to get ransomware, be careful what you get ransomware. It's the lesson here.
I'm a little confused. If your time system goes down, and then you would have a manual timesheet and stuff, right? So
wait, do they though?
Well, but if your mid-pay cycle, part of the hours that you've worked are now encrypted. So a good manager would have been okay, everyone write down how many hours you worked, and then just use the honor system and been whatever, we'll just choose to trust the employee who wrote down the right number. So some employees may be I worked 60 hours, and it's like, Bob, it's a Monday. No, you didn't, right? But otherwise, just figure it out. This seems like a silly lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Honda can't disprove it. No.
Do you see more lawsuits like this coming up in the future?
I mean, I think that ransomware is gonna make a lot of companies non-compliant with laws and regulations, and you don't get a pass, right? The laws still apply to you even if your computer is encrypted. And so I think that this lawsuit only exists because someone fucked up. right? Like some manager was like, I'm not going to pay you overtime. Prove to me you worked it. And it's like, that's not how it works. So,
yeah. So story number 2, this one reads, culture shock. Ransomware gang sacks arts organizations' email lists. Don't worry, the crooks totally deleted the data and promised not to use it for evil. I actually heard about this story. It's by WordFly, and it's a mailing list provider for top arts organizations, among others. And recently, it was tied to the Canada's Toronto Symphony Orchestra and the Courtauld Institute of Art in London.
Well, also the Smithsonian here, just the Smithsonian though.
Oh yeah, just oops, I missed that. But what do you have to say about this story? I have thoughts, but I want to hear yours first.
No, we want to hear yours first. You never go first. Go first.
So I was thinking that, you know, when it comes to like art organizations, and you think about like the Met Gala Smithsonian, my bad, and then like people who are going to an orchestra, they are usually pretty like well-off, wealthy people. Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing that came to my mind, is that it's a very niche audience that the ransomware people targeted. And I mean, it kind of makes sense. So I just was surprised that nobody's ever really done this before, but it's just mind-blowing to me.
Well, I think it's similar to OpenSea when someone targeted OpenSea and their mailing list. So I think you're absolutely right. The wealthier you are, the more likely you are to be involved in arts, especially these name brand art institutes. And that's exactly why they're targeted, is if you can get a donor list or a mailing list, then you've got a prime phishing campaign to pretend to be whatever institute it is, and then say, oh, your most recent donation, the payment did not go through, or here's our new wire, instructions, please send it. And so very easy to commit a lot of fraud just based on emails and knowing the organization that people donate to.
Yes. It only makes sense to attack high value targets, logically. We see this with crypto exchange attacks, where attackers will get a list of the users and sort by account size, and whoever's at the top are targets of, say, phishing or SIM swapping.
I think that was the HubSpot breach that happened, where they were targeting the crypto people by account size. Mm-hmm. So it's insane. And it also kind of reminds me of the oligarch leak that happened recently. I think it was,
oh yeah, that was like a Russian
oligarchs.
Yeah.
Some jeweler.
There's a Russian jeweler that was broken into.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So fun. I like to see them expanding their horizons, to be honest. It's not.
But like when ransomware gangs target Russian oligarchs, that's like Russia on Russia crime. So
that's true. Don't cut that out. That's true.
It's like the Spider-Mans, you asked me first.
And ultimately, Russian oligarchs are criminals. So it's like, what are they going to do? Steal from themselves?
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, they probably do it.
I mean, yes, that is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have any last comments? Actually, you know what? Wait 1 second. So they said that this is the last line of the article, and they said something which is, in the meantime, as WordFly's email service remains down, the orchestra has temporarily partnered with MailChimp to send its communications to patrons.
I love how like MailChimp, it's like, okay, fine. We'll use you temporarily. Like, I know we're dealing with hacks and Russians and data breaches and all that, but like, do we really want to use MailChimp? Okay, just a little bit.
But I feel like MailChimp also was it was the talk of the town sometime 2-3 weeks ago when they were dealing with some sort of breached like server or something. So it's just, come on, y'all, like put 2 and 2 together now.
No, I love the like unnecessary shade. It's like, okay,
in quotes,
we've been hacked, so we're gonna temporarily partner with them.
My buddy Larry works for MailChimp just down the road. Hi, Larry. What's up, man?
Oh, is MailChimp a Seattle company?
They have an office in Seattle. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if where they're headquartered, but Larry works there.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, I think that
it's all making sense now.
Right there. Not Microsoft, which is right there.
Wait. Haven't you been within 10 miles of a lot of breached companies, Shu?
I think we should move on.
T-Mobile, right?
There.
To name one.
They're more than 10 miles away from me.
There were more.
They're 12 miles away from me.
Okay, sure. It's time for a bourbon break.
All right. So this time, guys, Shu is going to be presenting the bourbon. So Shu, tell us a little bit about this bourbon that you have today.
Yes. Speaking of local, this is a local find. The Distillarium. They are.
Hold up to the camera. We didn't get a good view. Oh,
that looks pretty.
That's a pretty label.
Yeah, it's a pretty label. Yeah, we're pretty classy here in the Pacific Northwest.
LOL. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so they are a distillery in Yakima. I found this despite my previous run-ins with Total Wine. I did find a Total Wine and it looked good. I did a little bit of research. It is not sourced, I do not believe.
Is it a Total Wine like?
No, it's not.
Direct
it's not.
Select. Okay.
No.
Correct.
No, it's not. Yes, I learned my lesson. Fine.
So about this bourbon, I'm going to show you guys. So it's a really pretty label. Like I said, their website's really nice too. You know, in their description, they say it's a truly locally sourced treasure, encompassing the flavors of both wheat and rye. The result is an earthy whiskey with tasting notes of toasted cereal and spicy caramel. It's been aged for at least 3 years in charred American oak barrels. Its signature is subtle, is sweet, and it has a hint of spice. Tasting notes like we went over: toasted cereal, earthy, spicy, caramel.
Okay.
Everyone knows that Central Washington rye is the best rye in the world, because that's from the Columbia River.
No one knows.
No, it makes sense. It's so everyone knows that
the
Miocene and Pliocene eras, that area experienced the biggest lava flows that Earth has ever seen, and so that area is just flooded with lava. Now, that by itself does not make it truly unique, because also, as storm systems cross the Olympics and the Cascades, some say that it alters the water from the rain there. And it injects what some people would say kind of a fresh flavor to the water. So you combine the unique rainwater of the Pacific Northwest with the lava from the Columbia Basin, and that makes a truly unique rye. And I think that's going to really make this bourbon special, like all Pacific Northwest bourbons. We'll see.
That are sourced from Kentucky. Yes.
They don't grow Central Washington rye in Kentucky.
You can literally import rye to any state that you so choose.
It's from, okay, so it is a little bit light. I'm drinking it from my Washington shot glass like I usually do. It's not as strong as I would hope. Let's see.
What notes? Hold on.
Blue is not the word here.
What notes are you getting from your Heavenly Hill sourced bourbon?
You know, there's a minty flavor to it, and I'm not just saying that because it's
That's not a usual smell on a bourbon.
Yeah.
Well, it's not except from the water or from the rain clouds as it crosses the Olympic rainforest and the Cascade Mountains. We're gonna give it a shot. Don't look all shocked, Divya.
Mountain zones smell like mint.
You know.
Thank you. Forests are not made of mint, Shu. Forests are made of trees.
Pine trees. Here, they're beautiful pine trees.
Mint and pine are different.
Not as strong as I would hope. Not as much burn as I would hope. Interesting flavor. Man. Maybe they should have aged 4 years or maybe 2 years. Yeah, age of 2 years.
Little sharp on you?
No, it's not a little sharp. That's the problem. I could drink it pretty fast. The flavor's okay. Flavor's not bad, actually.
Could you use some words for the flavor? Flavor words.
Yeah, it is spicy. It is, I no joke, I do taste, it is spicy for a bourbon. It is a little bit spicy. I would not be surprised if they called this a bourbon or a rye, excuse me.
Did they ever say it was a bourbon? Because I didn't actually see the word bourbon on the.
No, it says
bottle.
whiskey.
Oh my God, it's not even a bourbon.
Fuck me. I did not buy a bourbon.
You're drinking a rye.
Oh my God, what the hell?
Typical Washington shenanigans.
Oh no, wait. What do they call it?
Not even a bourbon. It's a rye.
No. Oh, it is my fault. I bought the straight Trinity whiskey and I'm looking at the bourbon whiskey. This has been a fucking fail of this whole episode.
You are drinking whiskey and rye.
So on this episode of Rye and Data Breaches, we are
rye and ransomware and wheat.
Yeah, rye and ransomware. This does not invalidate everything I said about Central Washington rye. So let's review this as a rye. It's spicy like a rye.
Because it's a rye.
Why a rye, Shu?
I would like to taste more burn. The flavor's not bad. The flavor's interesting. It is I would say that the flavor profile is a classical rye. I would like to see a little more burn there. So
it's almost like it's a rye.
Almost. Do they even have?
And that's been a not bourbon break.
A fake bourbon.
That's been a rye break. For anyone interested in rye. Hey, to the three of you interested in rye who went to a bourbon video cast, that's been a rye break.
And the two of you here in Washington, it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad for rye.
Story number 3. This was handcrafted for Shu because I know he's super enthusiastic about this story.
This story would have been great for Miguel, who's not here, because he's Italian, but we can't get his opinions on it. Or Paul, who is pretty much Italian. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying.
Yeah, or any of the Argentinians.
Who are also Italian.
Might as well
speak Italian.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or learn, or are learning. But anyway, ransomware group targets Italian tax agency. And the authorities are investigating the theft of roughly 78 gigabytes of data stolen from Italy's tax agency, l'Agenzia delle Entrate. Which Miguel.
Are you also learning Italian?
I was.
That was some good. That was good.
I know. Thank you all. Anyway, the Italian news agency ANSA reported on Monday It's assumed that it's like Lockbit 3.0, one of the most active and prolific ransomware groups going, posted a notice to its website claiming it had stolen 100 gigs of company documents, scans, financial reports, and contracts from the agency. These are some of the screenshots. And I don't know. What do you guys have to say about this story?
I have questions because up until like a month ago, it was Lockbit 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
How do you just go from 2.0 to 3.0? Like, where's the 2.1, 2.2, 2.5? You can't just jump an entire release.
No, they can't. They're agile. They release quickly and often.
But you're going to lose backwards compatibility and people that are relying on you for the 2.0. What happened to the 2.0 ransomware people?
Hey man, it's 2022. You gotta be quick. You gotta update shit, and you gotta
Can we get like a change log? Like what happened from 2 to 3? Like what's going on?
Fair.
The site didn't change.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I mean, you would think that if they can change like from 2.0 to 3.0, but their website is still shitty and bad, it doesn't add up.
I mean, I didn't say it, but yeah, like
the math is not mathing.
The site didn't change. Why are you 3.0 now? What makes you 3.0?
New features, man. New features.
We need a change log. Who approved the changes?
Security patches. Security patches are the main thing. Yeah.
So yeah, like ransoming a tax agency, lots of really good PII, right? Because you tell all of your PII to tax agencies. So sadly, if you've filed taxes, then you're potentially going to be a target for Lockbit to go after phishing, social engineering. And what does the tax agency do now? Like, how do they protect you? I don't know.
Yeah. And if you're an Italian citizen that gave money to the Toronto Symphony, you're doubly screwed this week.
Yeah, this B&B is all about you.
So R&R, Ryan ransomware this week. Yeah.
Shoes, drinks, and
extortion.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that it is Lockbit, and we joke it's like, yeah, 3.0. Lockbit is one of the large, more resilient ransomware gangs. You don't hear a lot of drama from them, and they just keep going.
I mean, they're prevalent, and they also typically target Europe. I could be wrong on that, but I don't see a lot of Lockbit focused exclusively on the US. Lockbit typically goes after Europe, and I've seen them go after Hong Kong and other non-US companies. So it's interesting to see the target list for some of these gangs. Conti went heavily after US companies.
Yes.
But we know they were Russian and Ukrainian. Lockbit's going heavily after Europe. Makes you wonder where they're located.
Yeah, it is. They are ransomware as a service. I originally thought they were just a tool, but I'm probably wrong on that. But yeah, they don't. It's not like other ransomware as a service where you have drama from the underling saying, "Hey, these guys are stealing too much money from us." Yeah, they're pretty resilient on that.
I'm moving on to story number 4, and story number 4 is about Twitter, which I was really interested in. And there's a Twitter hacker who's touting the data of over 5.4 million users, including celebrities and companies, for $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there was a security flaw that came to light in January when a user on HackerOne named Zirinovsky pointed out that Twitter was vulnerable to hackers seeking to use information for malicious purposes. Yeah, so what do you guys have to say about this?
So this is, I'm more interested in the timing of the event, because this is always the devil's advocate on HackerOne or any other bug bounty program. If I disclose a bug to you and you pay me, but then I also exploit the bug right before to steal data and sell it, like, how is it any different, right? Like, I find it very interesting, the timing, because they disclosed the bug and then like the next day, all of the stolen data showed up available for sale. So they're getting paid twice, right? They're getting paid at least once by Twitter. So
Allegedly.
I find it interesting. The bug was exploited, and it was disclosed the day after they got paid. So
I unironically find it interesting. Could definitely be just a coincidence. There's a bug out there.
There's no way it's a coincidence.
Could be. It's interesting.
So, like, bug bounty programs are good, but they're not perfect, and they clearly didn't work in this situation to prevent the bug from being exploited. And this was a particularly bad bug because you could take celebrity Twitter accounts and get personal phone numbers and personal email addresses. Well, talk about people that are going to be targeted for social engineering and fraud, right? It's going to be all these high net worth individuals, all these influencers, or all these like people that have highly stealable Twitter accounts, right? Like the 3-letter Twitter accounts.
I could be wrong, but this is not the first Twitter breach.
Yeah, this is the second or third, I think.
I think we've got like 5 in our system.
Yeah, at least they're up there with T-Mobile. I'm pretty sure.
You mentioned in our system, actually somebody pointed out that the users who were aware about the Twitter breach have complained that they only heard it through other security services such as Norton and LifeLock.
A lot of our customers
and Hack Notice.
And Hack Notice. A lot of our customers heard about this breach directly from Hack Notice.
Which is just really telling about Twitter. I feel this is an Elon Musk conspiracy theory, but I'm just going to keep it at that.
I think it also says a lot about Hack Notice and our data. It's not bad.
Twitter's having a moment, and I don't feel like it's a good moment. Because it's like Elon pretty much pointed out problems with their board, and then he made an offer, and they like bitched about it, and then they accepted it. And then they had to disclose, like, oh, by the way, we have like 50% bots. And then Elon's like, well, I don't want that. And then like, but you got to buy it. Now they're suing him and he's suing them. And like, it's weird. It's real weird.
The timing of it all is just very sus. On to story number 5. This is my favorite story of the evening.
Oh, God.
Mine too.
A blast. You're going to love it. But this is exclusive. Anti-vax dating site that let people advertise mRNA-free semen left all of its data, user data exposed. Some issues have since been fixed after security researchers discovered numerous vulnerabilities. I would also like to point out that the name of this dating site is called Injected. Please share your thoughts and comments.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Regarding this story, please.
Injected for now.
I just can't.
I literally can't.
Like, okay, if you've not heard it before, the more obscure your kink, the worse the security. Okay. The number of times I've had to process weird fetish data. Like, and it's always malformed. It's always malformed. And so you always get like sexual preference data, like, and it's bad. It's really bad. Like, please just, if you're into something weird, don't join like a specific community online.
Don't use your real email address.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just stay away. Like, if you're looking for mRNA free semen, just go on Craigslist like everyone else, okay?
Yes. And I will definitely say also from personal experience, no lie, this is why I will never search for people I know on the Hack Notice platform.
This is why I search for everyone I know on the Hack Notice platform.
Yes, you will find out information that you don't want to know, or in Steve's case, that you want to know.
I think it's important to know what kind of
every weird sexual site records everything you do, and they have zero security. And like, sure, I feel bad for the users of the site, but like, this is what happens. So like, just don't do this. Like, let's not do this.
Let's not do this.
Like, if you want this, just like use a real platform like Tinder, and then include a message like mRNA free, and then everyone knows to swipe left on you.
Yeah.
Right. Or as
this has been an episode of, I don't even fucking know, Ryan weird ass semen.
It's
yet another episode of Rye and breaches, I guess.
Right.
And
if you liked what you saw today, Divya did a great job editing. I'm sorry Shu couldn't make it. If you hated everything you saw today, then that means you don't know what mRNA actually is.
And it also means we're a member of Injected.
Yeah, see you guys on an Uninjected, or
yeah, see you guys on a episode where we actually have some bourbon.